The call came in late afternoon just as I was pulling into the driveway of our new house. I had barely turned off the engine when my phone rang again. I looked at the screen and answered. "Is this Daniel Brooks?" the voice asked. It was rough, older, and sounded like it hadn't been used much. "Yes, who is this?" I replied, already feeling a strange unease. I'm the previous owner," he said. "Look, I'm sorry to bother you, but I forgot something important. Something serious." I almost ended the call right there. People call for all kinds of nonsense after a house sale. But then he added something that made my hand freeze on the steering wheel. There was a camera hidden in the living room ceiling. I forgot to disconnect it from the cloud before selling the house. It's still been recording. For a moment, I didn't even speak. The air around me felt heavier. He continued quickly, almost nervously. "I only found out today when I accidentally opened the old feed. I didn't mean to watch anything, but what I saw, I think you need to know." My chest tightened. "What did you see?" I asked slowly. There was a pause. Too long. "Don't ask me over the phone," he said finally. His voice dropped lower. "And don't tell your wife. Come alone. I'll show you everything." The line went quiet after that. I sat in my car for what felt like a long time, just staring at the house in front of me. Our new house. Claire had already started making it feel like home. Lights were hanging on the porch, soft yellow glow in the early evening. Inside, I could hear laughter. Her mother and sister were helping unpack boxes, moving around, talking like everything was normal. I finally got out of the car and walked inside. Claire looked up from the kitchen and smiled. "Hey, babe, everything okay?" I forced a small nod. "Yeah, just going to grab a few things from the store." She didn't suspect anything. I kissed her cheek, but my heart was beating too fast. As I walked back out, something inside me felt off. Like this phone call had torn something invisible in my life. Something I didn't even know was fragile until now. And whatever that man had seen, it didn't feel like a mistake. It felt like a warning. The man lived about 20 minutes away in an old faded bungalow behind a gas station. When he opened the door, I noticed his hands were shaking. "I didn't mean to get involved in your life," he said quickly, stepping aside to let me in. "But I lived in that house for 30 years. I couldn't just ignore what I saw." He led me to a messy desk and opened his laptop. "I saved a copy of the footage," he said. "I'm not keeping it. You have the right to see it." He clicked play. The screen showed the living room. My living room. The timestamp showed Tuesday. I had been at work until 7 p.m. that day. I clearly remembered it. Then Claire walked in. Then her mother. Then her sister, Jenna. They were laughing, opening wine, acting relaxed like they owned the place. Claire dropped onto the couch and laughed. "I can't believe he actually fell for it." Her mother chuckled. "All that talk about starting fresh? Like it's really his house." Jenna smirked. "He's too busy with work to notice anything. That's the best part." Her mother leaned back. "You did the hard part, sweetie. Now we just make sure he stays distracted until everything is finalized." "The switch?" I whispered without realizing it. On screen, Claire opened a folder and pulled out papers. "Power of attorney forms," she said with a smile. "He signed everything without even reading properly." Jenna laughed. "So he really doesn't suspect anything?" Claire leaned back. "Not a clue. He trusts me too much." I felt like the air had been pulled out of my lungs. The man turned the volume down slightly. "There's more," he said quietly. "But you understand the situation now." I couldn't speak. My mind was spinning. Power of attorney, trust, marriage. Everything twisted into something I no longer recognized. I stood up slowly. "Send me the full file," I said. "Every second of it." He nodded. That night, I drove home like nothing had happened. Inside, everything looked normal. Too normal. Claire kissed my cheek and asked if I remembered to buy milk. Jenna was organizing things in the garage. Her mother was baking something and talking about inviting neighbors over. They all looked happy, natural, comfortable. But now I saw something else behind it. Every smile felt planned. Every laugh felt staged. Every kind word felt like part of a script. I nodded, smiled, and played along. Because they didn't know I had seen everything. And I wasn't going to confront them yet. Not until I was ready. Over the next few days, I acted completely normal. I said I was tired from work. I stayed quiet during dinners. I pretended to be distracted. But behind that calm face, I was building my own system. I installed hidden microphones in the kitchen, the hallway, even under the dining table. I set up a backup recording system through the router. I secured the original cloud feed the previous owner had mentioned. They were too confident to notice anything. And soon I started hearing everything. Jenna's voice came first. "Are we sure he won't fight it later?" Claire replied calmly. "He won't. He never reads anything properly." Her mother added, "We just wait a few weeks. After the transfer, he won't be able to do anything." Jenna laughed softly. "Then we cut him off clean. Say we need space, sell the house, and move on." My house. I sat in the garage that night staring at the laptop screen. My hands were tight into fists. My throat was dry. My mind was cold. They weren't guessing. They had a plan, a timeline, a schedule, and I was the one funding their future. So I opened a blank spreadsheet. Step 1, hire a private lawyer. Step 2, pull every asset back under my control. Step 3, prepare the final move. The lawyer I chose worked in a quiet office on the edge of town. His name was Harold Maddox. No flashy tone, no unnecessary words, just calm and precise. "I want to quietly revoke a power of attorney I signed a few months ago," I told him. He studied me for a moment. "That can cause suspicion if handled quietly." "I'm counting on that," I replied. We started immediately. Paperwork, documentation, legal transfers, asset protection. Bank accounts were secured, investments redirected, and most importantly, the house deed was quietly brought back under my full control. By the end of the week, everything important was out of their reach. All that was left were empty shells of control they thought they still had. Then came the next step. Bait. That weekend, I walked into the living room smiling like nothing was wrong. "I got a raise," I said casually. "A big one." Claire's eyes lit up instantly. Jenna clapped her hands. Her mother smiled like she had just won something. "I knew you would," her mother said. I played my role even better after that. Fancy dinners, small gifts, a new suit, a bracelet for Claire, just because. They believed everything was still on track. They believed they were winning. But what they didn't realize was simple. I was already controlling the outcome, and they were just acting inside a story I had already rewritten. I just needed one final step, one final moment, and it would end exactly how I wanted. 2 days before their planned switch, I overheard Claire outside on the phone in the backyard. "It's happening next week," she whispered, her voice low like she was afraid even the walls might hear her. "He's completely in the dark. I've got the forged signature ready. His name will be off the deed before he even blinks or notices anything strange." I stood inside the house, slowly sipping my coffee, acting like nothing was wrong while I watched her through the window. She looked like she was practicing a role she had rehearsed many times in her head. Everything about her felt planned. Her gestures, her tone, even the confidence in her smile. Her whole life with me had been a setup, a long-running lie. And the worst part was, she seemed proud of how cleanly she thought she was pulling it off. That night, after she went to bed, I sat alone and emailed a special packet to Harold. It included everything: voice recordings, cloud videos, updated power of attorney documents, and even the forged signature Claire thought I never noticed her practicing late at night when she believed I was asleep. "Prepare the final package," I wrote in the email. "Emergency legal motion. I want everything ready by Tuesday. No delays, no noise." A few minutes later, Harold replied with just one line. "It'll be beautiful." I didn't sleep that night at all. My mind stayed awake, calm but alert, like I was finally seeing the full shape of something that had been hidden from me for too long. The next morning, I made a decision. I invited all of them to dinner at our home. I called it a celebration. The bonus came through, I told them casually over the phone. We should enjoy it together. They believed it immediately. Greed makes people stop thinking. It blinds them. They didn't ask questions. They just accepted the story and showed up exactly how I expected. That evening, I grilled steaks outside, opened a good bottle of wine, and even wore the bracelet Claire had given me 6 months earlier. I wanted everything to feel normal, comfortable, safe. That's what made it perfect. They laughed more than usual. They talked loudly, clinked glasses, and acted like everything was already theirs. And I just sat there, smiling quietly, watching every moment like a clock ticking down. Right before dinner ended, Jenna raised her glass toward Claire and said something that made my stomach tighten slightly. "To the future real owner of this house." They all laughed like it was a joke, like it was harmless fun. But Claire didn't correct them. She just smiled. I stood up slowly, raised my glass too, and said, "Let's toast again next Tuesday. I'll have something special for you then." They cheered. They thought it was just another celebration, another reason to drink. But I knew what Tuesday really meant. Tuesday was the day everything they built on lies would start collapsing. When Tuesday finally arrived, I woke up early and got dressed simply. No luxury watch, no perfume, nothing that could distract or soften what was coming. Just a plain gray shirt, calm, controlled. Claire came downstairs wearing a red dress like she was heading into a victory she had already won. Jenna was already in the kitchen pouring mimosas, acting like she owned the place. Her mother was on the phone, loudly telling someone that this was the final week in someone else's house, laughing like it was all settled. They genuinely believed today was the end of my story. At exactly 9 a.m., the doorbell rang. Claire paused for a moment. "Who is that?" she asked, slightly confused. I didn't answer. I just walked to the door and opened it. Harold stepped inside, holding a thick manila folder. Behind him was a court officer dressed formally, serious and silent. Harold gave a small nod. "Daniel, ready?" I nodded back once. "Ready." I turned toward the room where they were standing. "Ladies," I said calmly, "take a seat. You're going to want to hear this." Claire frowned immediately. "What is this about?" Before I could answer, the court officer stepped forward and unfolded the document in his hands. "Claire Whitman," he said clearly, "you are being served a cease and desist order related to attempted property fraud and signature forgery." The room froze. Jenna stood up fast. "What the hell is this supposed to mean?" Harold gave a faint, controlled smile. "It also means Mr. Brooks has filed for an immediate asset freeze on all joint accounts due to an ongoing fraud investigation." Her mother suddenly raised her voice. "You can't do this!" I leaned forward slightly, looking at them one by one. "Oh, but I did," I said quietly. "While you were planning how to remove me from my own life, I was already putting everything back where it belongs." I paused. "You own nothing," I added. Claire's eyes widened. "What? This house? Mine? The accounts?" "Mine. The bracelet on your wrist." I glanced at it. "Bought with my card. I'll be taking that back too." Claire didn't move. For the first time, she looked completely unsure of herself. "And one more thing," I said, sliding a USB stick across the table. "This contains every recorded conversation you thought nobody had. Copies are already with my attorney and secured in cloud storage. If there is any retaliation, it goes public immediately." Silence filled the room so heavily it almost felt physical. Claire's face slowly lost all color as the court officer continued explaining the paperwork. Jenna grabbed the USB stick like she thought destroying it could undo everything, like reality could be reversed. "You're insane," Claire whispered, her voice shaking now. "No," I replied calmly. "I was just patient. There's a difference." I looked around the room one last time. "Pack your things. You have until sunset." Her mother suddenly snapped, "This is our home." "No," I said firmly. "It's mine. And don't forget, mortgage, title, utilities, everything is in my name again. You gambled on a fake signature. And you lost." Jenna's voice cracked. "We were just trying to help Claire?" I laughed once, but there was no humor in it. "Help?" I repeated. "You tried to take control of my life and call it help." Claire stepped forward slightly, her voice softer now. "Daniel, please. Let's talk privately. Don't do this in front of them." "In front of them?" I repeated. "You involved them. You planned with them." I pointed toward the officer. "If they aren't gone by 6, escort them out." I walked past them without another word and went upstairs. For the first time in a long time, the house was silent behind me, in a way that felt final. Downstairs, I could hear drawers opening, bags being dragged out, objects hitting the floor, and quiet arguments turning into broken murmurs. The confidence they once had was gone, replaced with confusion and panic. I had taken everything back, but I still wasn't finished. By sunset, the sky outside turned deep orange, almost burning. Their suitcases lined the curb like evidence of a story ending badly. Claire stood last, mascara running, still trying to understand how it all fell apart so quickly. But I wasn't there watching. I was already downtown, inside a glass building, sitting in a boardroom, handing the final file to a senior contact at Wilkins & Rowe, the law firm Claire had always dreamed of joining. "You're sure?" the partner asked me. "Yes," I said. "She forged documents, misused private recordings, and tried to manipulate assets. It's all there." He exhaled slowly. "Then she's finished in this field." "That's the point," I said. By midnight, her legal license was flagged. Internship offers disappeared. Her name started circulating in professional silence and quiet suspicion. Even her online presence began to collapse. Before I deleted the burner account, I sent one final message. "You built your life by lying about mine. Now build it again from nothing." Then I erased it. Later that night, I sat alone on the porch with a glass of bourbon. The air was cold against my skin, but I didn't feel it the same way anymore. For a long time, I thought they were smarter than me. I thought staying quiet meant losing. I thought love meant never pushing back. I was wrong. I didn't just fight back, I won. And the part that stayed with me the most was simple. They never even saw it coming.